I'm a bun, I'm a tasty bun, to be baked and eat it. Oh, how fun you can have
Just kidding, Sal. Kids wasn't that great. Oh, really? Really? I suppose you can do better? Is grass green? Is water wet?
I'm a big fan of the Sonic the Hedgehog series. Like a lot of people, I narrowed down to the classic Sonic the Hedgehog cartoon shows, though, because I think the rest of the Sega had spawned was rat crap each of their own. I was browsing eBay the other day. I was wondered if there would be any items about my favorite character from the series, Sally Acorn. Indeed, what I found was a plushie that was manufactured in Sega World of Sydney, which closed down due to the lack of visitors in 2006. Those Sally plushes were very rare, but I didn't have the money to buy her, and my parents were desperate for me for it. I examined, examined the plushie for a while as the article came with a picture. This Sally even had her jacket on it, was written with a permanent marker, God. I don't really know what it meant. Probably the initials of the child owning her before they sold her. I clicked the back button to return to the Sonic Sally search, knowing I wouldn't win the audition anyway, only to find another article had appeared Sonic.EXE cartoon all episodes. With a prices of $1 on instant buy. Sally.EXE DVDs were never released where I come from. Bummer. So I was happy as I was. I wanted to rewatch the show and check out the article. It had no discrimination and no address where it came from. Germany, Canada, etc. It was missing and the shipping price was stated to be free. I look up at the photo of the article. It was a blank CD. I decided to buy it anyway. Not just for the nostalgia, but the writing was a great, and I love Robotnik in this series. Well, it all started when the mail arrived. It arrived the next morning. Oddly, it was Sunday. I was happy to receive the episodes. I immediately put the blank CD onto my laptop and started the DVD. Sadly, the DVD didn't start, but it offered me to show the files, so I opened the folder and saw the Sally.EXE application. I was confused at bringing in an EXE, but I started it anyway, and indeed, it was playing the Sat AM episode. The episode was called Hook on Sonics. Begin. The episode started on all normal, nothing with the intro, no blood or anything. But the sad thing is that my computer blue screen when the kissing scene of Sonic and Sally started. When
Just kidding, Sal. Kids wasn't that great. Oh, really? Really? I suppose you can do better? Is grass green? Is water wet?
the computer rebooted and I took out the CD and as I thought it was malfunction and threw it away. I could have asked the person to give me my money back, but he can keep the $1. I gave him. I mean it. It's just $1. I continued to normally browse the internet, speak to friends on Skype and all. Nothing was wrong until when I was watching random YouTube videos, my cruiser. The white arrow, in case you don't know, started to completely spaz out. I disconnected my mouse, but my cursor continued to thrash around the screen. I even deactivated my touchpad and it continued. Suddenly it came to stop and I carry on, ignoring what happened. Soon I found myself downloading a ROM for Sonic the Hedgehog. Fun game. As soon as I had downloaded it, I started up my emulator and began the game in windowing mode. But oddly, my computer, my complete screen went black. I shrugged it off and waited for the game to start. The familiar Sega jingle didn't sound well. Well, it did, but it would slow down so much it sounded like a demonic. It gave me a cringe. The background remained black, and Sonic didn't run past the logo. It faded to black, and some text appeared. And I first thought it was a red front, but it looked like it was scratched onto my computer screen. I blink and flinch as the main screen come on. The sky was dark gray, and the clouds looked dull and black. And right before the thunderstorm, the mountains were decay, and so was the logo. It looked practically ruined and rusted. I was amazed at the pixie detail, but it also scared me. Sega 1991 was now replaced Sega 666, and the water was bloody red. The familiar music wasn't playing either. It was just a 16-bit mess of sound. The demonic Sega occasionally mixed in. Instead of Sonic showing up, two characters appeared next to the logo, Tails and Knuckles. The sight of them terrified even more. Tails' eyes were black and they were bleeding. His fur had become dull gray, black as well. And he had an expression of anguish on his face. Knuckles looked far worse. His red fur was dark to a reddish gray. His dreadlocks were dripping with blood on his eyes, and his eyes were black and bleeding like Tails. And he had a look of sadness in his face. And just when I noticed a new character pop out of the middle of the logo, a pink, bubbly little hedgehog poked her head out. At first she was smiling, but then frowned at what was around her. She looked confused and nervous, like she didn't really know what was going on. Amy Rose? What was this all about? Curiosity drove me to press enter. A short yet loud static noise sounded, and the screen faded. I wish I have done so. The writing appeared again. Right. The demonic Sega jingle sounded again as for a split seconds an image flashed. It disappeared too fast as I couldn't make out, but I could never saw the red and black Sonic with black and red eyes. I almost felt them pierce me and that moment made me jump, and it didn't begin with a Green Hill Zone Act 1 though. Wish it did. The title card read, it says, "Not perfect, Act 1. The game begun. The ground looked like a normal Green Hill Zone, but the background was pitch black. Amy stood normally where Sonic would be in the original game. Surprisingly, that was well-made sprite. It wasn't her classic self, but her current self. It looked official. Even On the opposing side of the screen where Amy was at, there was a large silver wing in front of the ring, stood in the sprite of Sonic with a smile on his face. The animation of Amy, the animation of Amy standing there was a fact that she stared forward with a lovely expressions. As hearts came from her head here and there, I guess she should head to Sonic. I thought I was moved aiming towards Sonic. Sonic ran away and jumped into the ring. I made Amy leap right after him. The the level teleported to one of the stages where you can get the Chaos Emerald. The background was pink with love hearts all over. It looked cute. I was distracted by the only having four red and white colors spears to jump on, and I've tried to balance Amy on top of it as she desperately tried to keep onto the spears, but my control slipped and Amy fell. I fell onto the wall of gold spears. Just as I thought, I teleported back and a loud shriek sounded like an image as of this demonic Sonic continued to flash over the screen. The screen completely spazzed out as I heard shrieks, loud shrieks from what I could swear it was Amy Rose herself. I kept hearing no, no, and loud cries of agony and pain would abruptly ended with more statics for a split moments before the screen cut to black. Soon, the title screen appeared again. Knuckles and Tails were missing, but instead, Amy appeared. She was smiling her usual cutie smiles, but her body had holes. Not bleeding holes or bullet holes, just holes that pierced her body all over. Her color faded into a dull black and white, and even her eyes looked oddly disfigured. This scared me so much, my entire body began to itch. I scratched myself over and over as I watched a new character appear. I ran upon seeing Cream. What a sheer terrified expression and huddled against the logo for comfort. Poor Cream. I wanted to quit the game, but but as it focused, I hit start again. Then screen faded to Kind and Fair, Act 1. The stage was blank now, and the background music was drowned sounding, slower of the Green Hill Zone. And it nearly made me gag, but something forced me to play. The stage began Cream Spire was like Amy's, a very well done. Well, the environment was childish. It looked like a cute cutout. In front of Cream was the TV box that gave you a higher speed and made and I made Cream crouch down to do the spin dash and I dash ahead, crashing the box. The level didn't change. The ground was as a solid platform. And it seems that Cream was going faster, and crashed more boxes and more. I noticed the music got completely out of sight, which scared me. Suddenly, Cream crashed into the wall of spikes. A loud splat sounded, which didn't even sound like it would bring in a 16-bit game. Poor Cream was torn to shreds. Blood dripped from the spike and blooded rapid as the background slowly began to melt in front of my eyes. The image flashed again and then soon the title screen appeared. As expected, I was back on the title screen, and Cream appeared with Amy. She looked scared, but her other eye was, how do I put it, droopy and dead and bland, a black goo. Her ears were over her face, and now instead of a black of her head, her color scheme changed from brown to an orange. Her color scheme changed from blood. Her color scheme changed from brown and orange to a very, very dark purple and red. Her dress was dull gray. Time for the third character, and God, and I went to cry and weep down when I saw Sally Acorn pop out of that goddamn logo. Put in her innocent smile as she waved towards me. Like she didn't even know what torture would happen to her. The game was so terrifying and yet so fascinating, but I wanted to help real but I wanted to stop this like real bad. But my hand wouldn't budge. I even started shaking. I wanted to reach the power button and turn this damn thing off. But my hand just wouldn't move, and before I knew it, I hit start again, and then the screen faded to ellipsis, Act 9. It said, a sad, dull melody played in the background as the scaholate of the ground. And a sprite scaholate that resembled Sally appeared in front of the background that consisted the whole group. Amy, Cream, Knuckles, Tails, and Dr. Robotnik appeared, all in their torture forms, with a saddened expression. It also had Sonic, but in a nearly unrecognizable way. He had a wide grin on his face, with razor sharp teeth. He had black eyes, with red dots for pupils, which were bleeding. It looked like he would reach out to the Scahalorite in front of him. I tried to move Sally to get her out of there, but each wall wouldn't budge, and Sally would do a push-in animation. I stopped in the middle as, to my horror, the stage began to shrink, and the black started to close in on Sally. I tried moving her again, but the walls wouldn't budge or move. I walked Sally back to the middle as the wall closed in on her. She crouched down before she completely disappeared in black.
rest of the day off. I'm just gonna